presents NFL Blitz 2000.
You know that unspoken rule when you sit down for a multiplayer game with your friends? That silent agreement that no matter what happens on screen, you're still friends when the credits roll? Well, some games never got that memo. Some games weren't designed to honor that deal. They were designed to find the tiniest crack in your friendship and drive a flaming football right through it. I'm talking about the hum of an N64 in a dark room, the greasy sheen of pizza pockets on a controller, and the unmistakable sound of a lifelong friendship snapping in two. And the culprit? A 70-yard Hail Mary caught by a receiver who was, and I mean this literally, on fire. This wasn't just football, this was NFL Blitz 2000, a game that had nothing to do with sportsmanship and everything to do with survival. It was a test of loyalty, a test of patience, and a test of just how many times you could watch your quarterback get suplexed after the whistle before you completely lost your mind. To really get why Blitz was the ultimate friendship ender, you have to look at where it came from. It was made by Midway, the same geniuses behind the glorious chaos of NBA Jam. So yeah, NFL Blitz was never going to be a realistic football sim. It was an arcade game through and through. And when it was ported to home consoles, it brought that wild DNA with it. This was football imagined by the Looney Tunes, a 7-on-7 free-for-all where the laws of physics and the NFL rulebook were, at best, gentle suggestions. Midway's whole thing was simple. Take a sport, cut out all the boring stuff, and crank up the action to 11. While games like Madden were getting lost in complicated playbooks, Blitz was beautifully simple. One button to pass and a handful of money plays, and a single-minded goal of creating pure, unfiltered fun. But fun in the world of Blitz meant something different. It meant impossible catches, tackles that belonged in a wrestling ring, and a total disregard for player safety. The on-field hits were so brutal that the actual NFL got nervous before the game came out and made Midway tone some of them down. What was left was still a game that openly encouraged stuff other games would penalize you for. Pass interference wasn't a penalty, it was your main defensive strategy. You literally couldn't go offsides, so the action never ever stopped. This wasn't football, it was a gladiator-themed party game. And with the N64's 4 controller ports, it instantly became a multiplayer legend. NFL Blitz 2000 perfected the formula by adding 4-player support and a play editor, which let you cook up your own evil schemes to unleash on your friends. It was the perfect storm, a game built on pure chaos, released on a console, built for couch competition. Your friendships never stood a chance. The absolute genius of NFL Blitz 2000 was in its mechanics. Every single one felt like it was engineered specifically for psychological warfare. The official rulebook was gone, but a new, unwritten one took its place. One forged in late-night battles and salty arguments. The first test of any friendship was the 30-yard first down. In real football, 10 yards is tough. In Blitz, getting 30 yards felt like climbing a mountain. This forced you to be aggressive, to go for the huge play every single time. It created this constant tension where no lead ever felt safe. And there was no worse feeling than watching your friend on 4th and 25 somehow juke 3 of your guys and launch a rocket to a diving receiver. It felt cheap. It felt personal. And then there were the late hits. Oh, the late hits. The game didn't just let you do them. It practically begged you to. After the whistle, you had a few precious seconds to deliver one last disrespectful shot to your opponent. An elbow drop, a leg drop, a full-on body slam. At first it's hilarious, a little post-play taunt. But by the 4th quarter of a tie game, that late hit on your star quarterback isn't a joke anymore. It's a declaration of war. It's the digital version of flipping the entire table. That crunching sound, the over-the-top animation. It was designed to get under your skin, and man, did it work. This is how we got the first unwritten rule of Blitz. Thou shalt not excessively late hit the quarterback. If you did, you were just asking for a fight. But the ultimate weapon, the true destroyer of friendships, was the on-fire mechanic. Just like in NBA Jam, if you completed 3 passes in a row, your team would literally catch on fire, getting unlimited turbo and basically turning into superheroes. Your receiver could now outrun anyone, and your quarterback could launch the ball from end zone to end zone. Trying to defend against a team that was on fire was maddening. It felt like the game itself just decided you were going to lose. It didn't matter how well you played defense. A flaming guy was going to score. This one feature was responsible for more controllers being thrown and more accusations of the game being cheap than anything else. And so more unwritten rules were born. You can't just run da bomb over and over. You can't always pick the 49ers. You have to give your buddy a chance. But when bragging rights were on the line, those rules went right out the window. Blitz didn't just let you play dirty. It gave you every reason to. Friends spamming the same defensive play? Go into the play editor and create the perfect counter. Them running up the score? Just keep pile driving their players until they get the message. Of course, the golden age of Blitz couldn't last forever. The very things that made it a phenomenon are the same things that led to its downfall. Midway kept putting out new versions, but each one felt a little less special, partly because the NFL was getting more and more uncomfortable with its own brand being attached to such a violent game. The series tried to change. They even released a more realistic game called NFL Blitz Pro in 2003, but it completely flopped. It got rid of the arcade chaos that fans fell in love with, and it just couldn't hang in a market owned by the ultra-realistic Madden series. The final nail in the coffin came in 2004 when EA signed an exclusive license with the NFL. That one move killed all competition, including Blitz. Without the NFL license, Midway tried to reboot the series as Blitz, the league, and free from the NFL's rules. They leaned in hard on the violence and drama with a story mode full of steroids and scandal, but it just wasn't the same. It had lost its cartoonish charm. Eventually, Midway went bankrupt, and EA got the rights to the Blitz name. They put out a downloadable reboot in 2012, but it was a hollow echo of the original. The NFL had requested that all late hits be removed. The very soul of the game's disrespectful fun was gone. The beast had finally been tamed, and the friendships of a new generation of gamers were safe. NFL Blitz 2000 was so much more than a game. It was a crucible. It was a shared memory of victory, rage, and the kind of pure joy that only comes from watching a receiver catch a Hail Mary with his helmet. The arguments were epic, but the memories are priceless. It was a moment in time when 4 friends could cram onto a couch and take part in the most chaotic friendship-testing ritual you could imagine. But that's my story. What about you? What was the play, the moment, or the broken rule that almost cost you a friend? Drop your own NFL Blitz war stories in the comments. NFL Blitz 2000 is a monument to a different time in gaming. A time before online lobbies replaced living rooms, when sports games didn't have to be perfect simulations to be perfect. It was loud, it was dumb, and it was absolutely glorious. It might have been built on a foundation of broken rules and broken controllers, but its legacy is the laughter, the rivalries, and the friendships that were tough enough to survive it. It taught us that sometimes the best games aren't the ones that bring us together, but the ones that give us a really good reason to yell at each other before immediately hitting start on one more game.